The sun rose quietly over Greenfield Academy, a sprawling campus surrounded by tall oaks and colorful flower beds that whispered stories of laughter and heartbreak. Marilyn Jensen, an insightful yet introverted girl, stepped off the city bus, her heart pounding in sync with the rhythm of footsteps. Today was her first day at a new school, and after 3 relocations in 3 years, she was no stranger to the feeling. Each time, she wished for a blank slate where she could remain unnoticed, like a ghost drifting through hallways steeped in social hierarchy. With her hands clasping the straps of her worn-out backpack, which had seen better days, Marilyn made her way toward the entrance. She observed the groups of students chatting animatedly, their voices carrying through the crisp morning air, laced with the scent of freshly baked pastries from the cafeteria. She felt like a solitary star in the vast universe of her peers, lost and dim. To blend in and remain invisible was her primary goal, but deep down, she craved connection at least with a few souls. As she crossed the threshold into the buzzing school, her gaze swept across the hallway filled with students wrestling for lockers, the sound of sneakers squeaking against the polished floors blending into a cacophony of jovial laughter and clanging metal. She had learned to navigate new environments with the ease of a seasoned traveler, locating her locker, finding her classes, and analyzing the social landscape for potential threats. That was when she spotted him, Tyler Navarro. Towering and effortlessly charismatic, he stood with a group of jocks, a faint smirk dancing on his lips as he crushed a soda can in his muscular grip. Tyler was famed for his prowess on the basketball court, his good looks making him a social icon. Yet lurking behind his façade was a reputation laced with menace. He thrived on intimidation, and Marilyn could sense immediately that she needed to steer clear of someone like him. However, the universe had something different in store. Just as she attempted to sidestep his imposing presence, a partner in his mischief carelessly jostled into her shoulder, her books scattering across the floor like fallen leaves. A few students snickered as Marilyn quickly dropped to retrieve them, the flush of embarrassment painting her cheeks a deep crimson. It was at that moment she heard that voice, smooth yet taunting, dripping with mockery. "Well, well, what do we have here?" Tyler's amused tone slithered through the crowd like a serpent. His laughter was magnetic, drawing attention and malice alike. It was perhaps from his friends that she sensed a flicker of discomfort as they watched this usual play unfold, awaiting their king's decree. Marilyn lifted her chin, meeting his gaze with silent defiance. The last thing she would do was give him the satisfaction of acknowledgement. With a small huff, she grabbed her books and brushed past him, determined to ignore the fool who thought he ruled the universe. "Hey, where are your manners?" he called out. But his words fell flat. She'd played this game before. Silence was her armor against bullies. Turning away, she found solace in the rhythm of her own heartbeat, steady and fierce. But Tyler wasn't done yet. In one swift motion, he yanked gently on her backpack strap, pulling her backward enough for her to feel the friction. As she turned, the hallway hushed. All eyes were on them. For the first time, she felt a rush of electric curiosity flash through Tyler's eyes. Was it surprise? Perhaps a sense of challenge? "You made a mistake," she said quietly, her resolve anchoring her words. Tyler raised an eyebrow, amusement dancing in his expression. "And what would that be?" he teased, amusement mingling with the quizzical glint in his eye. Marilyn held his gaze, her heart beating louder than ever. "You'll find out," she whispered, spinning on her heel and walking away. What he didn't know was that she was no ordinary girl, and today was just the opening act. The rest of the day felt like a blur, a whirlwind of teachers, abstract discussions, and endless introductions. At lunchtime, she found a seat in the far corner of the cafeteria. She observed the warmth and camaraderie at the center table occupied by Tyler and his crew. His laughter echoed as if he was the sun, drawing everyone to him in humble adoration. But beneath the humor, Marilyn noticed an undercurrent, the way Tyler's friends leaned in too close, always sizing up their leader, always laughing a fraction harder than necessary. She'd seen this before. Bullies thrive on dominance, feeding off shared laughter at others' expense. Sinking into her own corner made it easier to watch and resist, all the while plotting an unseen path through chaos. As the hours trickled by, she was thankful to finally escape the chaos for the day, the heat of Houston still lingering as she approached the bus stop. As she pulled out her phone, she felt a presence behind her, an unfiltered energy that sent a shiver down her spine. "Hey, new girl," Tyler's voice hung in the air, laced with self-assuredness, as he emerged from the thrumming crowd. "What do you want?" Marilyn managed to say, maintaining her composure. "I think you have an attitude problem," Tyler mused, stepping closer, his body language exuding superiority. She refused to back down. Her response caught him off guard. "I think you should walk away." His surprised half-laugh only strengthened her spirit. "You've got spunk," he admitted, but there was a flicker of anger sparking within him. Marilyn met his gaze determinedly, letting silence hang as her weapon. She could see the confusion in his eyes. It was a dangerous dance. "Who do you think you are?" he finally blurted, masking vulnerability beneath bravado. With a steady heartbeat, Marilyn tilted her gaze, her nerves simmering beneath the surface. "I'm just someone standing in your way," she replied almost too calmly, a part of her enjoying the widening sense of control. Just then, a sleek silver car pulled up beside them, a sound of thunder. The doors parted to reveal none other than Ryan Anderson, her cousin, a famed actor known for his roles in action movies. Not many had the entry ticket to Ryan's world, and with one swift movement, he garnered attention that left everyone, including Tyler, stunned into silence. Marilyn turned towards Tyler, her lips curling into a smirk. "You still think I'm just a random girl?" The shock displayed on Tyler's face was palpable as he spotted Ryan. His bravado, the confident smirk, vanished like mist in the morning sun. The whispering crowd around them inhaled collectively. With each passing second, the power dynamics shifted, making it evident to all those present who truly held influence. "Get in, Marilyn," Ryan said coolly, his voice commanding yet gentle, cutting through the sudden tension. With a sense of pride and relief, she slid inside the plush interior of the car as it roared to life. The unease clung to the air as they drove away, but inside, she let laughter bubble forth. "That was intense!" she exclaimed, glancing sideways at her cousin. Ryan shot her an amused smile. "You had him rattled." Marilyn relaxed back into the seat, savoring the feeling of victory. "I think I might need a bit more help navigating this minefield." Unbeknownst to her, that moment was merely the beginning. As the school year unfolded, the escalating tension between her and Tyler morphed into a shadow game of power. Each day, she walked through those halls with her chin up, feeling the weight of eyes follow her. And Tyler, lurking like a thunderstorm on the horizon, had begun to lash out, more brazen and unpredictable than ever. Each encounter only added fuel to the fire. He tried to undermine her with whispers, exhausted attempts to regain his status as king. But with every encounter, she gazed at him through an unwavering lens, one that saw beyond the bravado. The layers of insecurity peeled back to reveal a boy desperate to cling to his identity, rooted in fear. But Marilyn was more than just the new girl with an actor cousin. She was a master of her own narrative and had assessed the depths of Tyler's weaknesses. She adopted the silent tactics, allowing his machinations to unravel while she maintained a facade of indifference. "Play your game, Tyler. Your own folly will catch up to you," she silently vowed, observing his every move with the patience of a spider spinning a web. 2 weeks later, the show began its final act. Having grown weary of the theatrics, the students rallied around her, no longer fully under Tyler's control. When they arced their whispers toward him, it chipped away at his bravado, swaying the beliefs surrounding his power. The air grew electric with anticipation. Marilyn had no intent to retaliate in a destructive way. Instead, she understood the beauty of staying several steps ahead. So when the time came, she orchestrated a silent count in her mind to illustrate the miscalculations Tyler continued to make. On a fateful Monday morning, she walked into the school to discover the threads of gossip woven tighter than ever. The air buzzed with whispers. The students formed huddles of laughter centering around Tyler's locker while her heart raced. When she turned the corner, a crowd gathered, phones aloft capturing the shocking phenomenon that had unfurled. Strips of paper, scattered with screenshots and transcripts, dangled from his locker, digital breadcrumbs leading back to the cruel comments he had tossed carelessly like confetti during high school social events. The secrets shared not just of students, but the cruelest remarks about teachers cast him in a desolate light. Rage would be an understatement. Tyler forced his way into the circle, his fists trembling as he located the surface of his display. "What the hell is this?" he shouted, tearing off the papers one by one, but it remained futile. The narrative was beyond his control now. Marilyn positioned herself inconspicuously, arms crossed, a calm smile gracing her face as she absorbed the scene. All those months of playing the game had led her here, standing amidst the swirling chaos he had created. Bryce's reputation unraveled, and the audience's perception began to shift. As the realization settled that the perceived king was now stripped bare, indignation festered within him, a sense of vulnerability he was unprepared to face. He glanced across the crowd. Their expressions were a mix of disbelief and pity, his friends distancing themselves, no longer willing to hold hands with the enemy. When his furious gaze fell on her, Marilyn recognized a unique satisfaction blooming within. The time for silent analysis was over. At last, she could proclaim victory through intellect and strategy. "Did I do this?" she asked innocently. "It seems you've made a name for yourself, Tyler. Just think. What a legacy." The anger feeding him surged back, but this time he couldn't retaliate, his aura swirling with confusion. Instead of lashing out, he retreated into the chaos he had conjured. Marilyn felt the tension crackle in the atmosphere as he pushed past students, adrenaline coursing through her veins. By the time the sun began to set on that seemingly ordinary day, she and Ryan sat in their comfortable living room, laughter peppering conversations about the day's events. "You orchestrated a masterpiece," Ryan declared, the pride in his eyes a reflection of the journey they had walked together. "At the end of the day, it's about choice. You chose to rise above." Marilyn exhaled, relief washing over her as she finally leaned into the warmth of connection. There was no need for violence. The truth was exactly what I needed. As Ryan squeezed her shoulder, a newfound confidence settled over her. She had woven the narrative deftly, reclaiming her power without crossing into darkness. And for Tyler, she knew the road ahead would now be a lonely, rocky path. His empire, a crumbling relic haunting the ghosts of fear and intimidation.